Welcome to the Prophecy Club. Our topic today is I saw the mark of the beast, and he's talking about a chip. Now, before we get into it, let me remind you from 6:30 to 7:30 at prophecyclub.com and the other platforms you can join us in our Bible study. Also, effective January 31, we're no longer going to be offering DVDs, but we decided to extend it to February 28th. So if you want a Prophecy Club DVD and actual disc, then you need to go to Prophecy Club Resources. It's an easy way to get to it. Prophecy Club Resources, and place your order. Instead of $30 each, they're all $10 in each until February 28th. And also you can watch them instantly at prophecyclub.com, as long as we have the internet, that is. Also, site-wide free shipping at josephskitchen.com. Site-wide free shipping, josephkitchen.com. Also, if you want to get gold, or if you want to talk to them about making certain that your life savings or a large amount of money is not lost in some big stock market crash, which I just got some additional information on, probably making a program on that here soon, how the stock market is going to crash one day. Okay, anyway, 800-200 gold. All right, so here it is. This was given November 26, 2024. Thank you for sending it to me. He came out with one, which I'm also going to read, a couple of years ago. I thought I was looking at the same one, but this has new, updated information. So he says, Brandon Bigg, by the way, this is the guy that saw Trump shot in the right ear 3 months before it happened. He had about 50,000 subscribers, and now they're over to 500,000 subscribers because everybody has finally found somebody that something came true on, which we don't want these things to come true. I know that sounds crazy. We want them to be warnings, not prophecies. We want the bad things not to come to our country, okay? I'm not saying it's Neuralink, but I'm saying it's a type of a Neuralink, like what Elon Musk is working on. I'm not saying it is Neuralink, but it's that kind of technology. It's very small. They inject it in your hand or your forehead. It automatically links to the 5G towers. Since they were not everywhere when the Antichrist rules over the earth, it also linked to the Starlight satellites. There are literally hundreds of Starlink low Earth orbiting satellites already in the sky, as we've covered in previous programs. But when this takes place, there will be many more. They provide internet signal throughout the whole world. It is controlled by computers. I'll add quantum computers. When this Neuralink connects to the Starlink will make it be able to communicate to the chips from the Neuralink to Starlink, and I'm going to put parentheses to the quantum computers. And they will link together like buddies. So I looked up Neuralink, and it clearly says it's an implantable brain-computer interface. It's not a pipe dream. They're actually working on perfecting it. They're not working on making it. They have it. So what we're talking about is technology that is already here. We're not talking about technology that's a pipe dream 20 or 30 years down the road. It's here. They're just trying to make it probably a little bit smaller and better, do what they want it to do. And by the way, this is another reason I don't trust Elon Musk. So here's the way it works now. This is in the back of the head. That's what it looks like. And if you look at those little strands there, those actually go into the head. Now, I watched a movie. No, I didn't watch it. I started to watch it, but it's just garbage. But they put this right back here, and it had all kinds of wires that went into the brain. And they controlled everything a person thought. They could see everything they saw. They could hear everything they heard. So, again, it's not a pipe dream. It's not a plan. It's here. Let's go on. So when they inject the chip inside your hand or your forehead, it will communicate to the internet through Starlink above the earth. I saw the governments around the world start to use drones. Now, that's a big thing in the news here lately. We talked about that. Start to use drones to search for all humans that did not have the mark of the beast chip in their forehead or hand. You could hear the drones everywhere like swarms of bees. The sky was buzzing with thousands of drones. These drones use infrared to detect heat. If resistors had a big fire, people hidden in the hills, they found them. Smart Christians went underground and kept their heat low so the drones could not use infrared to find them. The drones were not able to detect smoke, only small fires. They could hear a gunshot to kill wildlife. They could detect it from a long distance off. They found the noise. You could not shoot firearms. Many of them were starving. They would get fish whenever they could, but they couldn't light a fire in the open to cook it. They had a small supply, but nowhere close to 7 years of food. This isn't just a couple of weeks living off the grid up in the mountains. This is going to be 7 years of hell. All right, now, that's his opinion, and I disagree with him because he is a pre-tribber, and I think that the rapture, if that's what you want to call it, the time we go to the marriage supper of the Lamb, takes place about 4 months before Armageddon. So we don't have to survive for 7 years. We have to survive, well, I don't plan to survive. I mean, as soon as I give my life to my Lord for his glory, I'm ready to go. Probably you are too. I saw her husband, his wife, and their 2 children that were born during the tribulation. They told the mother, if you don't take the mark and the children don't take the mark, we're going to cut those children's heads off. And as any good mother, you would. She was freaking out. Don't cut my baby's heads off. I'll take the mark. I saw her right before my face take the mark of the beast. Then the children took the mark. But the father said, no, I'll never take the mark of the beast. I saw those men take a massive sword and chop his head off right before me. I saw his head roll right before my feet. I could smell the blood from the man. His head was cut off right before me. But the kid's mother had no expression. Now, hang on. Do you remember a song or a movie that came out? This is in the early 70s. Probably many of you don't remember it. But it was about these pods that came down out of the sky, and they would lay them next to someone. And when they were sleeping, the pod would recreate a clone of that person. And then that person would die, and this vegetable body clone would take over the person. And they had no emotion. As a matter of fact, if you think about different movies that you watched in your lifetime, there were a lot of cases where when they were taken over, they had no emotion. Remember? Okay, think about that. And that's what they... See, again, Lindsey Williams was told that they consider themselves good sportsmen, and they think it's poor sportsmanship to tell the unsuspecting goyon, the unsuspecting masses, what they're going to do. So they warn them. They don't necessarily tell the truth or all of the truth, but they warn them through news, movies, books, music, and things like that. So they sort of tell us, but they don't tell us the truth. And they certainly don't tell us the whole truth. Okay, let's go back to it. They had no emotions at all. You became like a zombie. It makes your mind instantly like a zombie. It's like, hello, hello, there's no one there. The children did not cry. They were not at all upset because their father's head just got cut off. His wife didn't even act like she cared. It was like, she's not there. I saw a man mowing his grass, with no expression on his face. He was mowing his grass, but he was gone. It was the weirdest thing, seeing these people that took the mark of the beast were totally wiped out. They were mowing, but they had no expression. Then the scene changed. And I saw a man trying to commit suicide, trying to jump off a bridge, but whenever he did, it created peace in his mind, the chip did. The chip sent a signal to his mind. The chip knew his thoughts, knew he was standing there ready to jump off this major bridge to end his life. Then suddenly the chip caused him to calm down. He just stepped back and walked away. There was no way to even do anything physically to yourself. It would not allow you to have free will anymore. You could not commit suicide. You couldn't get out of this. If you were trying to do anything stupid like riot or steal or do anything like that to your mind would not let you do that. Not to everyone, but on some, it also caused a sore. A massive boil on the skin. It looked like a burn. It popped up like a boil on their hand. And when they first get it, there's a black circle around the sore. On some, it starts oozing, even on the forehead. It's like it had a reaction with some of the people. It's not a grain of rice, it's a little square chip injected into your body. It messes with your mind. It creates a signal to calm you down. It alters your personality. It sends waves to your brain and causes you to calm down like a zombie state. Every single town had roadblocks, barricades, checkpoints, checking everybody coming in or going out of the town. To get supplies like groceries, medical, go to the doctor, you had to have the chip. Men in these black outfits scanned you. I saw people on foot trying to go in there. I saw a woman who had tried to draw the mark of the beast's sore. She was desperate to get food, medical supplies, but they saw she was faking it. There was no mercy. No mercy. Her head was instantly cut off right then, right there. They killed her right there. They cut her head off. It just rolled down the street, and nobody cared. The people were like zombies. They were all standing in line. And I saw big movie screens. Now let's talk about the big movie screens. Ken Peters saw big movie screens. Daniel Davis, a missionary out of Costa Rica, also saw big movie screens. When he saw the big movie screens, that's when he saw the gentleman step to the microphone in Dallas, Texas, and say, "Gentlemen, I have an announcement to make. The United States, as you have known it, has ceased to exist. All property lines are dissolved, and the U.S. dollar is worthless." Now, that could happen this year. I want to believe that that's associated with the new financial system coming in, but that might be associated with the new world order, the world government, world religion coming in, which may be the same thing. Okay, so back to this. I saw big movie screens, massive movie screens, big as high-rise office buildings. Every Friday, everybody dresses in white garments. They all dress alike in white robes by law. Now, that's kind of like what the Muslims do, okay? On Fridays, all the people are in lines and worship him on Fridays in front of the screen. For some, it's live. Some, it is recorded playback because the whole world can't worship him all in the daytime. It's a huge gathering at Masons and Freemasons temples. I saw them worshiping in Rome at the Vatican. They all have big screens. Big screens in Europe, Paris, Buckingham Palace, it's everywhere. They had huge screens of him everywhere, and all the people were required to worship him on Fridays. He created a flag. I'm about to show you that flag. He created a flag whenever he is ruling as Antichrist all over the world, and he pulls down everybody else's flags. And there's only one world flag for the whole world, and it's his flag. This is what the flag looks like. I'll show you. I had my son create this. These stars represent the 5 pillars of Islam: faith, prayer, fasting, giving, and pilgrimage. That's the 5 pillars of Islam. The palm leaves represented prosperity. By the way, now let me talk about that. I made a DVD talking about Daniel. And I show you in that DVD why I believe the Antichrist is going to come from the geographical region of Turkey or northern Syria, northwest Iraq, and why I believe his parents will be Islamic, but he is not going to worship any God, for he said in the temple of God, showing himself that he is God. He's not a homosexual like some people think, where they think he has no regard for women. He has no regard for women because he's going to say, I am God. I don't have any desire for women. I am God, okay? And that fits with most of this. The palm leaves represented prosperity. The swords represented something about sternness and about ruling. Yeah, okay, sword. So I'll tell you what sword. The Islamic sword represents jihad. Now, what is jihad? Jihad is when you have your ankles and your wrists tied behind you and you're on your knees. And a man with a hood stands up with a long, curved sword called a scimitar, and they say, "Do you accept Allah and his prophet Muhammad? And if you do, congratulations, you are in Islam. And if you don't, your head rolls." That's jihad. They don't give you a choice. That's the 5 pillars of Islam. The palm leaves represented prosperity. The swords represented something about sternness, about ruling. This was all over the globe. The whole world was controlled by the Antichrist. It was a global system he was honoring. I believe Hamas, Al-Qaeda, and ISIS, because it was honoring them because they brought forth the Mahdi. All right, now let's talk the Mahdi. The Mahdi is the Islamic version of Jesus, or the Messiah. They believe, like in 33 AD or something like that, I forget the number, that the Mahdi fell into a well, and I believe it's in Iraq. That's in the DVD too many years ago. And they believe that in the last days, in a time of great conflict, the Mahdi will rise out of the well and come into taking over the world. He will rule the world. Well, that's what the Bible says, that the image that the beast that ascendeth out of the bottomless pit. What would we think if we saw him come out of the bottomless pit? We might say, oh, well, that's the Mahdi coming out of the well. Okay. In other words, the Christian Messiah is the Islamic Mahdi. Oh, here's another thing. I was in Kansas City in a pastor's office, and he had this wood carving on his desk. And I said, "What's that?" He said, "Well, when it sets upright, it says," I think he said Adonai. No, Elohim. He said, "But if I turn it over, it's Arabic for Allah." Allah? In other words, it's exactly the opposite. So the one side is Jesus, the other side is Mahdi, or one side is Messiah, the other side is Adi. One side is Adonai, Elohim, and the other side was Allah, exactly the opposite. Well, that's what the devil does, exactly the opposite. Okay, let's go on. Because it was honoring them because they brought forth the Mahdi. That's what everybody called him, the Mahdi. Everybody was required to worship him on Fridays. I saw these massive looking like army tank cars with men with solid black outfits with black shields totally covering their faces. By the way, this is edited because he stumbles and stammers all over the place and da-da-da-da-da-da. Okay, so I made it readable. They would drive up in these Hummer-looking cars with blue lights in them, almost like black lights inside of the Hummer cars at night. They would jump out and the Christians ran as fast as they could to try to get away from them. But the men jumped out of the Hummer type cars with these guns that I've never seen before. They look kind of like a horn. I've been told these stun guns actually exist. They're still in the prototype stages, but they actually exist. It sent out a pulse and knocked the people out, unconscious for a couple of minutes. In other words, give them time to get over there and handcuff the people. They just pointed the thing in the direction of the person or the group of people and knocked them out unconscious. There was no running away. It was on the Hummers, and the men had portable stun guns. They could just scan the people as they were running, and the people just fell passed out. Here's the first version that has a little bit of different things. I think what's happened is he got this back in 2014. He told part of it then, and then he got additional information. I just gave you the additional information. So this is back in 2014, a couple of years before. I don't know if I was in the body or out of the body, but this encounter changed my life forever. The Lord showed me the Antichrist. I didn't see his eyes. I saw his facial features. I saw his clothes and the way he carried himself. I saw him in the meetings in Berlin. He was in Berlin whenever everybody surrendered their kingdoms to him in 1 hour. He was at a big round table, okay? He was ruling as Antichrist over the world, and there's only one world government. This is what the flag looks like. It was on every flagpole throughout the whole world. The 5 stars represent the 5 pillars of Islam: faith, prayer, fasting, almsgiving, pilgrimage. On the side were the palm leaves representing prosperity. On top of the leaves were the scimitar swords, the sword of Islam representing jihad, or how Islam recruits. become Islamic or lose your head. In the Islamic faith, the swords stand for the strictness in applying justice, beheading. So this is what the flag looked like. Look at this. Try to memorize it. So we're talking about green, white, black. Again, green, white, black. Notice the 5 golden stars around the globe. And then you see the palm leaves with the scimitar swords on top of it. This tells you a little bit more about it. You can pause if you want to, and it'll tell you a little bit more about it. So the whole world was controlled by the Antichrist. The green was honoring Hamas. The white was honoring Al-Qaeda. The black was honoring ISIS. The world called the Antichrist the Mahdi. Everybody is required to wear white and worship him on Fridays. This is going to be on every courthouse in all the world. The mark of the beast is a chip that creates a boil on your hand. It's a lot like a Neuralink. It changes your brain. When the people get the mark of the beast chip, it creates an alternate personality. It alters your personality. It makes you calm. It sends out endomorphins into your brain to make you calm. It was very small, and the instant you get this chip, your body reacts to it. It sends a signal to your brain somehow and calms you down. It makes you like you're on dopamine, like you're all happy. Everyone is like they're zombies. They will use drones by the thousands to search the world, searching for anyone who does not have the chip. If your chip communicates to the drones in the sky, fine, you're okay. If you're without one, they notify the authorities. The drone follows you with all kinds of technology like infrared, and you cannot escape from it. The drone hovers over and follows you until the authorities find you. You either take the chip or get your head cut off immediately. They don't give you a chance to object or complain. You either take the mark or lose your head. No discussion. It's coming. Jesus Christ is coming. The mark of the beast system is coming. He is going to be called the Mahdi. When he got older, when he committed the abomination of desolation, he was proclaiming he was God. He had black hair with salt and pepper hair on the side, wearing a big turban. And I'm not going to say that. Okay. So this is what the Bible says. Now, Ken Peters said he did not see any kind of a chip. Who's Ken Peters? He had a dream 40 years ago. He's gone to be with the Lord now. You can watch his DVD at watchprophecyclub.com. One out of our 300 DVDs we've made, he's probably in the top 5. There's no one that questions he heard from God. And it's called I Saw the Tribulation. I'll repeat. I Saw the Tribulation. You can go watch it right now at watchprophecyclub.com. I Saw the Tribulation at watchprophecyclub.com. When you watch that, I think you will agree, he saw the future. He did not see anything about a chip. Now, I'm not saying there's not a chip. There may be a chip. Frankly, there probably is. It fits into the whole overall scenario quite well. But the Bible does not say there's a chip. But then, how would the Bible say chip? 2,000 years ago, when the word chip and the idea of a chip didn't even exist, okay? So let's read what the Bible actually does say. And that no man might buy or sell save he had the mark, that's one thing, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name. And as I saw, as it were, on the sea of glass mingled with fire. And then got victory over the beast. That's the fourth thing. The beast, his image, his mark, and over the number of his name, stand of the sea of glass, having the harps of God. So there's actually 5 things. Bottom left, you see, can't worship the beast, or his image, or take his mark, or receive his name, or his numbers. 5 things. Absolutely cannot do. None of them involve a chip. Stan, do you think it's probably including a chip? Yeah, probably. Probably. But I can't prove the chip. But I can prove from the Bible it says mark. And since the number of his name, and since everybody knows, and it was 603 that's 666, bottom right is probably, at least that's what I think, that the number of the beast looks like. So there you have it. Now, left is the number of his name. On the right is the mark of the beast. That's what it might look like. Might not look exactly like that, but it's going to look pretty close to that. Same thing here. That's the number of his beast, number of his name, So it might look something like that. And if you want more details on that, here's the book you want. You want to go to prophecyclub.com and get my most popular book of all four, Miss the Mark. And in this book, it has pictures of these. So if you want to show your friends what the mark of the beast, the number of his name look like, get this book. One's 20, but don't do that. Instead, get 10 for 35 or get 20 for $50. That way you can give them away. $2. Okay, if you get 20 for 50, it's what, $2 each. So, did I say that right? Anyway, pretty cheap to get the. And here's the thing: if they'll read a few pages, they'll probably read the whole book. If they read the whole book, they will not take the mark of the beast. That is pretty convincing on that. Get a lot of compliments on that. People really like this book. Miss the Mark at prophecyclub.com. Prophecyclub.com. I want to remind you that Joseph's Kitchen still has site-wide free shipping. I don't think they've ever done this, but this is a really big discount on everything. Right now, everything there, you can get free shipping on it. And since a lot of the things that they ship, the wheat and all that sort of stuff, are really heavy. I mean, a lot of times they come on pallets. So to get free shipping, that's a big deal. Joseph's, with an S, kitchen.com. Also, if you watched the program yesterday, I interviewed Jonathan Rose, and he's with Genesis Gold Group or prophecyclubgold.com. Get a hold of him, 800-200-GOLD. Also, if you want some prepper bars, there's the phone number. And if you want to, now for the first time, if you have crypto and you want to put that into an IRA, for the first time, they've just set it up, you can call these guys, or actually you go to the website, blocktruστira.com, blocktruστira.com, and it'll tell you all about it. If you don't even understand crypto, he says that place will help you to understand it. I'd recommend you get potassium iodide at prophecyclub.com. When a nuclear device is detonated, the wind blows the dust, and it's like fine dust, it's like powder, and it settles on everything. You breathe, eat, or absorb radioactive iodine, you pretty much can't avoid it, which kills your thyroid, killing you. But a simple fix is to simply take potassium iodide pills, which then floods your thyroid with good iodine, keeping the radioactive iodine out. You need 1 bottle per person per exposure for everyone from infant to adult, available 10 bottles for gift at $150, which is what I recommend, or $20 a bottle at prophecyclub.com. Shelf life 5 to 8 years, potentially more if you refrigerate it, or even more if you freeze it. Potassium iodide pills, prophecyclub.com. Right now we have them in stock, but so many people are ordering them, you may have to wait a while to get them.